Zoe.
All right, guys, we're joined by LA Galaxy head coach and sporting director, Greg Vanney. We'll start with a question from Damian Calhoun. Damian, go ahead.
Hey, Greg. First of all, can we get your thoughts on the match, and then I'll follow up with questions.
Yeah, I thought the first half, in terms of just the defensive side of things, initiating pressure on the ball, directing them to where we wanted to play, we struggled, and they had a lot of time on the ball. They were able to rotate into their 3-4-3. Guys were showing up behind guys because, again, it wasn't clear for us in terms of getting pressure on the ball, and we were in between things too often, which means a lot of work. Just trying to recover the ball. We adjusted a little bit. We adjusted midway through the first half, just trying to manage the numbers that they were eventually pushing high by asking Tyler to play a little bit more of a wing back to manage the fullback who was taking up high positions. On the first goal, he kind of loses him as the guy takes off and makes a run behind his back, and he needs to deal with that because Julian was coming inside to manage the guy that was playing in the gap. So I thought we were in the right positions. We had players to deal with the situation. We just fall asleep a little bit. They play it behind us, and then they square one across, and it's 1-0. It still wasn't as efficient, obviously, as we wanted, which required a lot of work in the humidity, and which was draining. Again, it probably took a little bit of its toll through the course of the game. We were impatient with the ball. We needed to be a little bit more patient, just move the ball quickly and establish ourselves in possession, and we were I felt like, they came pretty aggressive, and we were a little disrupted by how aggressive they were pressing us, and the ball just needed to move quicker from guy to guy, and we were a little bit slow in that way, so we never really established possession in ways we could. And when we did in the first half, we rushed attacks. We took shots from distance instead of building and allowing our team to get control of the game. Forced them to have to defend a little bit, which means that some of those numbers have to come back and defend. Instead, we rushed attacks and then put ourselves right back into defensive situations again. So I thought that was the first half was just that, rinse and repeat of a lot of that. And second half, we came out and readjusted into a really clear 3-5-2, whereas the first half was kind of a modified version of it, and we came out in a really clear one. We just felt like the first thing we needed to do was be more efficient recovering the ball. It wasn't going to be any attacks until we got better defensively and clearer defensively and could recover the ball in better places and control their possessions and their attacks. I thought we did a better job of that by and large. We were able to start attacks in better positions and therefore create more good chances off of better defending. The second goal comes where we recover the ball and we need to go wide, and we try to jam it right back up the middle, and it comes right back at us. It was just way too many people in the middle of the field for us to be playing that ball through the middle of the field, and it came right back down our throats instantly. We needed to go wide, reestablish our positions because we were spread a little bit. If we would have, I think we survived the moment for sure, and game stays at 1-0. We go down 2. Again, we continue to create chances. We're working hard defensively to recover balls. Occasionally, we get ourselves a little bit exposed in situations we have to deal with it because we're pushing some numbers. But again, we created some good chances. JK makes a couple great saves, obviously, to keep things close at least. And and I think that becomes the game. We still had some chances to maybe get one and make it even, and I think we had one great chance really at 1-0 to make it 1-1, and within maybe a minute or two later they went down and scored to make it 2-0. We knew coming across the country for this game was going to be a grind and a battle, and it was. We needed to be more efficient, specifically on the defending side and keeping possession. Just, again, the conditions here, even though it's April, it's still a lot more humid than we're used to, and it just is. If you're not efficient, then it wears on you. And we made some mistakes inside of that cost us, and that becomes the game.
The broadcast spoke about how you guys are just too narrow in attack, I believe. Not much width. I assume you didn't get what you wanted out of Douglas and Boyd. That's why they were the first two off.
Yeah, I think first of all, sometimes to get width, you've got to establish some possession, and in the first half, we worked hard as a narrow group to try to recover the ball. And then when we got it, we weren't transitioning fast enough to reestablish some width. We didn't hold the ball long enough to give ourselves a chance to kind of establish width. So, therein lies some of the challenges that existed from that standpoint when you say, or if somebody says we didn't have width, and it becomes a combination of those things. If you're defending as a narrow block because they've got 4 guys in between your lines, then you've got to be able to recover the ball and transition and get your width out to its positions and be at least secure enough to give them time to get there. And so I felt like, again, that was part of our issue and why we weren't securing the ball. Part of it is we were hesitating, I think, sometimes to play guys who might have had a little pressure on them, but we needed to use them to link up to get somewhere else where we could find some time. I thought we just hesitated at times and needed to just be sharper, give ourselves a better chance to get into good positions to advance our attacks and set up possession and try to control the game with the ball a little bit more. So, yeah, it's fair enough to say. Again, just as we went to a really clear 3-5-2, it still became we just recovered balls in better areas. And by recovering balls in better areas, we gave ourselves just a much better chance and much more efficient and a much better chance to keep it and to try to secure some possessions and set up and play.
All right, thank you.
We'll go with Alex Reese.
Hey, Greg. Second straight week that we see Javier and Dayon start together. Just kind of your assessment on the pairing tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I think some of it sometimes comes down to the defending side, especially on the road in a tough place to play like this. It's getting not just those 2, but the 4 guys that are kind of in the front part of the field who are managing our attacks to make sure that we get on a day like today, efficient and collective defending, that we're working and they're creating enough clarity for the guys behind to try to recover balls, to deal with situations. So, and I think those 4 guys collectively were a little disjointed on initiating pressure, on directing the game into certain areas of the field to make it clear for other guys. And so I don't think it was a matter of just the 2 of them. I just think the 4 weren't super connected and moving at the same speed and directing the game. And then again, it comes down to then we're inefficient recovering the ball, and then it makes it really difficult for forwards to be valuable when you're recovering balls deep in your half the field. Then they're playing a game of trying to sometimes manage long balls, trying to hold up things to bring the team in, try to win time, and that's a tough existence for long stretches. Second half, I thought there was some decent moments that showed a little more clarity and a little more possibility inside of it. Just in general, it was a collective thing and not just about those 2, but always with 2 forwards, it's just going to be about being able to balance the efficiency of the defending side along with the possession and chance creation. But again, I thought especially in the second half, we created some good moments. We created some chances and some good chances, and there was a goal or 2 in there for us that we didn't come away with on a day that was difficult for us.
Yeah, I kind of just want to know from your perspective, what's one thing that you really want to see this team kind of be better? And I know there's been a lot of things you mentioned, but through these 9-10 games so far, there's something that kind of stands out that this team needs to improve on? Yeah,
look, I think it's inside of games continuing to be able to adjust and to adapt, to make sure that we protect ourselves and that we can defend well and control and keep ourselves at 0-0, be efficient in the ball recovery, because that's going to set up everything that is going to be with our attacks, in terms of whether it's transition defending or initiating and working together as a group defensively. Because if we can do that well, then the attacking side, it gives our attack a better chance to be successful inside of it. Today was a day where we weren't efficient on the defending side, and it impacted all the game, especially in the first half. The second half, it became a little bit better, for sure, and we were better than on the attacking side as well. Inside of that, though, we still make a couple decisions that we need to make better decisions. We have to be very careful forcing things down the middle. It's something that has hurt us through the course of the season because it just creates counterattacks. We've got to be better at when balls come out like that we push it out wide and we overload outsides and then we work our way back across. So, I mean, things like that are just us, again, being more efficient and cleaner on the defensive side like we did last week. We kept the game at 0, and we were able to get ourselves into the game, score the goal, then get the second goal. And we've got to be able to do that. And today we made, more than a couple, but we made a couple big mistakes that cost us goals as well. But it was by no means a fantastic performance in the second half. I thought it was a gutty performance in the first half. That was a gutty performance in the second half, which created some good moments for ourselves, but it was an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, and despite the scoreline, any positives you can take away from this game?
Yeah, I mean, we'll take something out of every game. There was some good stuff when we shifted into the 3-5-2 that was valuable for us to see. The more we use that, the more comfortable we can get inside of using it. I thought there was some good chance creation inside of some of those things, some of those moments, just some good play. So there'll be little things here and there to take out of it, but it's all kind of, it's muted a little bit right now with the emotion of just, the grind and losing. And then, we'll review the video and take some things out and take some things to get better at.
And we'll go with the questions here.
Yeah. How are you, Coach? This is that loss 2-0 here in Orlando. But looking at the positive, you're going home and you got 2 MLS games and also a home game to host against Sounders. Do you think it's a good turnaround point to start and change how LA Galaxy is doing right now?
Yeah, I hope so. It's never, we got off the momentum of winning last week and a good performance and solid, and it's not easy to come all the way across the country and play a game. We wanted to play better. We wanted to get something out of this game, but this is a tough place to play. I mean, they came off of losing at home last week. They were super motivated to try to turn their fortune around at home. We didn't manage the situation well. Now we got to go back with 3 games at home. We've got to try to build some momentum in those 3 games with our performances, with our results, and continue to try to build off of it. But it's never in this league easy to go across the country and win a game. You maybe want to come and play better and grind some things and get away with 1 and maybe 3. But this is it's a tough place and a tough team. And today they made it tough on us. So credit to them. And now we got to go home and we've got to. We've got to up our performances and we've got to get results back and get some momentum out of it.
Hello, Coach. Marco Quesada from Costa Rica. So I want to ask you about Gino Bibi. So he's the new guy in the roster. So it's a long time wait for him, for you. But what do you expect about him?
Yeah, questions about Gino. He's come into camp after the draft, and he's been dynamic. He's fit in well with the group. He gives us a little bit something different than what we see sometimes, which is just some sharp, quick, aggressive movements. He's working to get behind the back line, and he's been really solid for us. Even though he hasn't been able to play, and it's been a long process negotiating to get everything situated, and now he's still waiting on his visa, which hopefully will happen soon. But the kid continues to work incredibly hard and integrated in the group, and it gives us a little bit something different than we have inside of our group that can help us. So we look forward to it. Like I said, he's working his tail off, and he deserves his opportunity.
All right, guys, we're joined by LA Galaxy forward Javier Chicharito. Oh, wait, where is it? We're joined by LA Galaxy forward Javier Chicharito Hernandez. We'll start with the first question with Damien.
Recording in progress.
Damien, go ahead.
Me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Hey, Javi.
What's up, man?
Just want to get your thoughts on the first half, second half. It seemed the second half you guys seem to have a little bit more fight in the attack there.
Well, yeah, I think we played better in the second half. Yeah, I don't know if the more battle was because sometimes soccer is very unfair because you start playing better and people think that you are playing with more intensity, that you're playing better. Sometimes the other team as well are getting tired as well. They're making subs that if you see their subs didn't do a very good impact, it was the other way around. Our subs give the impact as well. So I don't want to put to blame that it was like a bad attitude. I think the way that they played the first half was in a different way, more like determination I could call, and we try to to implement our way and our style, and we couldn't make it. We couldn't make it, and as well, some changes in the beginning of the match. Some position is there that the players are not used to. So I mean, don't want to put excuses because they played very very well in the first half. That's why they were up front in the result. In the first half, but yeah, I mean the second half we played way better. With more clarity, I think, and then our substitutions made a very good impact.
You think that clarity wasn't there in the first half?
Sorry?
You think that clarity wasn't there in the first half?
It's not about clarity. Sometimes it's like we have clear what we want to do, but then the opposite plays better. They defend pretty well, I mean, that was it. They were winning second balls. They were winning the long balls. It wasn't that they were creating that much of plays. The thing is, they play more direct. Things happen in a very positive way. Look the difference between their goal and the chance we have with Taylor and Dejan. It was very similar. They have a cross, they score, a little bit lucky as well. And then when Tyler played to Dejan, we couldn't score. Sometimes soccer is like that. It's not about that we want to blame that it was a terrible game from us. 2-0 away, it's bad. There's no excuses. We didn't play as good as we played in the other two matches, like the other day that I was speaking with you guys. But as well, I don't think it's as well that terrible. I mean, it's terrible because of the situation that we just have one win in the season.
All right, thank you.
Alex, go ahead.
Hey, Javi, thank you for your time. Just one win through these 9 games. You've mentioned at times, you guys have played like the better team, have played well. As the team captain, how do you kind of keep the morale with the other guys out there that, you guys are close to breaking this cycle? Because I know it must be frustrating for you guys mentally to kind of, have to repeat these things over and over.
Yeah. The only way, I mean, I think there's many ways, but as well, I mean, with example, man, I'm trying to never give up, keep running, keep trying. I prefer to make mistakes that don't do nothing, so I always try to play, to run, to give my best inside and outside the field, training, doing everything. And then as well, trying to make that like in a contagious way. But I think, man, I always said it, if you are not motivated enough to be playing for the most successful organization, living in one of the best cities in the world, like LA Galaxy, and then having your paychecks every 15 days on time, and I don't think the salaries are pretty bad in our organization. Man, what else do you need to get motivated, man? What else? I mean, I don't get it. So I'm not saying that my team is not motivated. I'm answering to your question about like they should be motivated. I mean, you are being a soccer professional, you have the chance to represent the most successful organization, and then that should be it. You don't need more. But then sometimes soccer is like that. Soccer is about momentum. Soccer is about deciding what one good play. One play can change everything in a game. You can be playing horrendous and then a penalty or something like that. Like for example, today's game against an Atlanta against Nashville. Atlanta wasn't playing that good, and then one penalty came, and they were back. From death. And then what's the narrative there? Like I always tell you guys, let's be great. When I spoke about against Austin, I didn't want to come to be saying that we're back and we are contenders and we're back. Like, no, let's be calm. And right now as well, that's the only way we can do it. There's plenty of season. We have now 3 games at home, 2 MLS and 1 USA Cup. So there's plenty to play. Riqui wasn't playing here, and we know it's our DP and is one of the most impactful players that we have, but. Yeah, we need to improve. We need to improve a lot, and I think we need to find determination. We need to find motivation inside ourselves, and then hopefully we can make that contagious in every one of our teammates.
Thank you, Javier. Thank you for your time. Safe flight back to LA.
We'll go with Andy. Go ahead, Andy.
Hey, Javier. Since last year, a lot has been talked about you starting the game with another striker, or the Galaxy starting the game with another striker. I'm just curious. Obviously, that 3-5-2 or just having 2 strikers up top formation has a lot to do defensively as well, but I'm curious, do you feel a little bit different playing alongside Dejan? Do you prefer one or the other, or how do you kind of...
I always prefer to be inside the field, regardless if I'm even a goalkeeper. Man, I'm a soccer player, so if I play with 6 strikers, 1 striker, 2 strikers, 25 strikers inside, well, that's not possible, but 11 strikers, I will try to do my best, man. Those questions, I don't like them because it's completely disrespectful, You are a teammate, you need to give the best as you can, you need to adapt yourself. World-class players, that's what they do. They put you with different formations, you should adapt, you should know what you have to do. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy being inside the field with whoever I need to play, because every teammate gives everything, and every teammate that has this LA Galaxy shirt deserves to be here, and hopefully we can prove that.
Okay, we're gonna go with Spanish questions from here in Orlando. Go ahead.
Hola, Javier, ¿cómo estás? Bueno, tú hablabas de la claridad y todo, y en el segundo tiempo tuviste una chance de hacer un gol, el empate, donde enganchas, pero ¿qué pasó ahí? O sea,
Pues el defensa llegó muy bien. El defensa no se comió la maga, al revés, no se barrió. El defensa nada más como que se deslizó un poco y puso su rodilla en el piso y no hizo la barrida como normalmente yo esperé que le hiciera, por eso hice el recorte. Entonces eso le dio un poquito de tiempo a estar y tiré, pues solamente que me la tapó.
Y quiero preguntarte puntualmente en Pedro Valdés si lo conoces y qué sabes del arquero de Orlando City.
Como pues mucho, es un jugador internacional, peruano, ¿no? Yo no sé, no entiendo tu pregunta, es un jugador extraordinario y obviamente que sé quién es, sí.
Sí. Javier, ¿qué tal? Mucho gusto, Marco Quesada para Costa Rica. Quisiera hablarte pura vida. Quisiera preguntarte por Gino, un jugador que he visto en redes sociales que ha sido bien acuerpado por ustedes, los de experiencia. ¿Qué opinión tienes de él? También, ¿cómo él se ha acoplado al equipo?
Él se lo ha ganado todo eso porque es un jugador y más que un jugador, porque no ha podido debutar aún, es un ser humano extraordinario, muy positivo, siempre ha entrenado al 100, ha aguantado ese proceso que duró mucho más de lo normal de su traspaso con nosotros. Entonces estamos felices de que por fin ya pudo viajar hoy, ya se ha estado incorporando un poquito más, ya ha estado entrenando todavía muchísimo más con nosotros. Así que creo que Gino es un jugador que tiene muchísimo potencial, que también hay que llevarlo con mucha calma y que creo que el entrenador le va a dar su debido tiempo en las oportunidades que él crean que son las más prudentes y necesarias. Y creo que es un jugador muy determinante ofensivamente, que tiene un gran 1-1 y que yo creo que si aprovecha él sus oportunidades y sigue con esa mentalidad tan profesional que tiene, creo que es un jugador que puede llegar muy alto.
Tercer compañero, creo, ¿verdad? Si mal no me equivoco, Keylor, Giancarlo y ahora Gino. Tico.
Sí, Ticos, exactamente, Ticos. Es verdad, tuve a Keylor, después, sí, solamente he jugado en contra, sí, claro. También él, y después que estoy pensando, no, pero rivales nada más he tenido muchos costarricenses. Sí, es mi tercero, exactamente. Así es.
Muy amable.
Gracias.
Vamos con una última en español por Zoom. Daniela Galinda, adelante.
Gracias, hola Javier, ¿cómo estás? De Claro Sports. Una pregunta de tu experiencia con todos los equipos que has tenido. Has pasado por grandes rachas en las que el fútbol no se dan los resultados. ¿Cómo apoyar de tu experiencia para poder salir de esta mala racha y poder mantenerse en una temporada que es bastante larga como la MLS?
Con mucho trabajo y con mucha humildad. Y a lo que me refiero de humildad, a mí la palabra de humildad requiere que no te sientas ni más ni menos que nadie. Entonces ahorita cuando pierdes no te tienes que sentir menos, pero que tienes que ser humilde, de ser muy autocrítico y de ver en dónde puedes mejorar. Y no nada más lo habla Javier Hernández, sino que cada jugador, cada personalidad o cada trabajador que pertenece a esta institución debe tener esa autocrítica y siempre tiene que ver a mejorar, siempre a mejorar, porque así creo que es como uno adquiere un gran hábito para poder ser campeón y para poder llegar a cosas extraordinarias, es hacer las cosas ordinarias de una manera tan consistente y tan disciplinadas que se vuelven nada más extraordinarias. Entonces creo que es eso, empezando por mí y por todos, es ver en dónde tenemos que mejorar. Yo saliendo de la conferencia de prensa contra Austin, yo les dije que la jugada que siempre iba a estar en mi cabeza, que estuvo durante los segundos 2 días, no fue el gol, sino fue esa jugada que fue fuera de juego, en cual un zurdazo que lo tiró por arriba de la portería. Entonces hay que ser así, hay que siempre buscar a mejorar sin sentirte que eres más que ningún otro compañero, ni tampoco sentirte que es menos ni porque lo estás haciendo mal. Simple y sencillamente cada paso, cada lección y cada resultado es algo para el cual le puedes aprender muchísimo y ojalá que todos lo podemos hacer, pero se necesita mucha humildad para poder mejorar, muchísima, entonces ojalá lo podamos hacer.
All right, that's all the time we have to have you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark. Thanks for the time. Just kind of want to get your thoughts on the game today.
Thoughts on the game. First half, they overloaded the midfield, so couldn't really get to people. They got 1 goal first half. We're kind of all over the place first half. Really trying to figure out how to get to people. Couldn't really get out to anybody. They'd find spaces behind us if we did step out, and if we stayed back, then the 2-6s had space to, you know, pick out a switch or something like that, which I believe that's how they scored their first goal. And then, you know, second half, you know, we had to get a result. So we started pushing numbers forward, and, you know, they did well to, you know, again, find time and find a switch, and they did well on the second goal to finish. Unlucky that JK got a hand on it, but you know, JK made some big saves, so kudos to him. He did really well to keep us in the game.
Yeah, definitely a tough game. You know, not to have Riqui in there as well. How'd you feel like you guys were able to kind of handle Orlando defensively? Just you and Gaston there. I know it must be different not having Riqui around with you guys in this game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Riqui was missing. You know, Ricky's the one who usually finds the gaps, the space, works the space. You know, if he drops, then, you know, it frees up one of us to work the space as well. You know, we just have that understanding within each other. I feel like that was definitely missing today. Just confidence to play with the ball, even when oppositions do try to press us more. Just having that confidence to be able to, you know, have that calm to still play 1-2s and move the ball around and pull them out and still find that space in between them. Kind of like, you know, like they did to us. But we usually like to be on the other side of that. But, you know, it's a still working progress. But, yeah, we got 3 home matches coming up, so we're all looking forward to that.
Yeah, and, you know, it's been a rough start to the year for you guys. Yeah. For you, you've been part of championship caliber teams, and you've been with successful teams in Major League Soccer. I mean, what do you think that this team needs to do, whether it's on the pitch or mentally, to kind of get back in the groove and, you know, get into a good rhythm with, you know, a bunch of games coming up next month?
Yeah, I think we just can't overlook any opponent in this league. Every match is tough. Every team is going to come out and, you know, try to press us and try to get us to make a mistake. But we had to have that confidence and trust in one another, and that we'll get the job done and we'll get our parts done. And, you know, with that will come results. You know, plays will come together, more chances will come, and then we got to finish, and then we got to finish our opportunities. So, you know, like you said, I've been part of a championship team, and, you know, we just have that, you know, the trust in one another and the confidence that each and every one of us can get the job done. And then, you know, Greg has a game plan for us, and we have to stick to, you know, what the game plan is, right? So we just continue moving forward and sticking to the game plan.
All right, that's
Thanks,
all the
Mark.
time we have. Thanks, Mark, for your time.
No worries. See you guys.